to learn a lot of cool things today, namely variables and how they work and how we can use them. And your project should look like this. Okay, we've got a JavaScript file and we've got our index.html file. That file is linked here. We're going to just go ahead and work straight from this file using the console.log to print out the things that we're working with so we can know if they're working or not. So here in Learn to Code.js, we've already worked with some variables, and let's talk about it now. You specify a variable by using a reserved keyword called var. You cannot use var for your variable names and things like that. This is a reserved keyword. Don't touch it. Don't make anything look similar to it. Okay? And then what you do is you give a variable a name. Okay? So imagine that you had 10 different buckets, you know, like the buckets that you hold water with or milk if you're working out on the farm. You know, when you're working out, getting the milk from the cows, because we can all relate to that. You got buckets, okay? Now, one bucket has milk, one bucket has cheese, because we put them in buckets, and one bucket has nails, because that's completely random. And so imagine having these different buckets. The buckets are all the same, but they can hold different things, and that's kind of like variables, okay? A variable can hold different things like words and letters. This is called a string here. It's a series of characters, okay? This is a character, this is a character, even a space is a character, and we put those inside of a string. And it can also, of course, hold numbers, like so. Got a 23 here. It can also hold other things like boolean values, true or false. And so we've got buckets that can hold different things, but how do you know what's in them? Well, that's why we name them. Okay, so in this case, we've got a variable called name. So we know that whatever is inside the bucket is going to be a name. Now, we don't know whose name it is. It could be Jack, it could be Darla, it could be Fred, and we don't know whose name it is, or what. We don't know the value that's going to be in it or the content of the bucket, but we give it a name so we can know of what type it is, or generally what we're going to put in it. And so what ends up happening with a variable is the moment that you create it, we're actually reserving a spot in memory. Okay, this is really important. Have you ever heard somebody be like, who's way in the computers, I just upgraded my memory on my computer. I've got 256 gigabytes of RAM. It's pretty powerful, right? And you're like, oh, whatever. But that's important because this is what happens. Every program that you run in your computer was written by some talented developers, and there's code involved. And it needs to be able to store data in memory or in that RAM, the random access memory, okay? And it's random because it stores it in random places and just keeps locations and picks the data out of it. And so whenever you create a variable here, it gets stored in memory, okay? We're reserving a spot in memory. So if you had a program that just was so massive, okay, have you ever had an app where it like crashed, it stopped working? Or have you ever had a program where it's like memory error or just shut down? Well, if a program is reserving too much memory, it can shut down. It might not have enough. And that's especially important on mobile. You know, if you're working with mobile, like if you have a website that you're trying to load on a mobile phone and it's got lots of graphics and images and things, especially on a 3G internet connection, so you're mixing the poor internet speed with the extreme memory, you can have crashes and other problems. So managing your variables is really important, and they do get stored inside of spots on your in your computer. In our case, it's going to store memory in the browser, in Chrome, and then Chrome in turn uses the computer's memory for its operations. Okay, I know it sounds a little bit convoluted, but the more RAM you have, the more programs can be running at the same time, accessing different things. Okay, if you ever have multiple programs open and they start running really slow, it's because they have to share the RAM on your computer, and there's not enough spots, so it has to wait its turn before it can store the variables. Boom! This is cool stuff. Probably never heard of that stuff, and I'm kind of really taking the computer science from level 10,000 and bringing it down to this low level here. But now you know, and that's what we're working with here. So this is all really important stuff. It's not magic, okay? It looks like magic, but it's not. So we've created a variable here of type string, okay? We've created a variable here of type number or an integer. You can also have a floating point number. So var, let's say shooting score. If you're really good at shooting, maybe you get scored some arbitrary number, 45.6. That's a float, okay, a floating point number with a decimal there. So there's different types of numbers that you can work with, and there's a string right here. Okay, so let's talk more about the strings. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid. Well, we'll just leave this here for now. So we got a name here, right? All right, and maybe this isn't a good practical example. Maybe we need to do something more practical. So let's talk about logging into an app, okay? A web app or iPhone app, whatever, it doesn't matter. And what we can do is we can say var first name. Okay, you're signing up for a service, whatever. First name, all right, is John. Var last name is Jingle. Well, let's call it Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. It's a mixed marriage. So there's a cousin involved. Really weird, but that's his last name. And first name and last name, Jacob Jingleheimer Smith. And now we can have, okay, what's your age, right? Or let's say date of birth. So DOB. And let's say date of birth. And notice how I'm making this camel case. And camel casing is first letter lowercase, and every other letter on the word is uppercase. So date of birth, okay? And this could be a string as well, too. We could say 10, 09, let's say 82. Okay, and now we could say var age is, 23. We're filling out a profile, right? So maybe there's an image URL. Like we want to pull an image from the internet where we have our profile saved. So var, we could say profile image URL. This could be HTTP, coolpics.com / John Jacob, .jpg. And then we can load that dynamically. This is all really common stuff, real use case stuff that you'll actually be writing in your programs and that professional programmers use every single day. Pretty cool. So we've got some numbers here, some strings here, and of course, you can concatenate or add strings. We've done that before. So let's go ahead and do that now, like a welcome message. So var welcome message, or we'll call this login welcome message. Now, if you're wondering, should I make my variables that long? That seems really weird. Why can't I just go like this, var LWM? That seems much shorter and easier to read. Well, the more wordy your variables are, the better that they're described, the less thinking people have to do. This is really clear, This, who knows what this could be? This could be lizard women meetup. It's a meetup for lizard women. Who knows? Right? It's not descriptive. I was confused, clearly. So it's better to make things longer if you need to, so they're better understood. Okay? You could do other things too to make them shorter. We could say welcome, whatever. And that could be MSG for message. And so what we want to do is we want to say welcome. So there's our string, right? And then what we want to do is we want to add another string. So welcome. But we don't need the quotes this time. First name. Okay, so what's happening here really? We've done this before. Welcome, well, what's happening here is this is a literal string, okay? And so is this. This literal string is being stored inside of a variable string, okay? And it can be accessed at a later point in time. Why didn't we just say welcome, John? Well, it's because what happens if the program changes? We don't write a new program for every single user. If I have 1 million users in one app, one web app, okay, I don't want to write 1 million different lines of code. Welcome, John. Welcome, Stephen. No, we want the input to come from the user. So we take input from a user and we store it in a variable. So they filled out this information. It's stored in a variable. And now we can access it at a later point in time. That's the beauty of variables. We never hard code anything, okay? We always get that stuff from the user or from somewhere else. So welcome, John. Okay. And, we can add another string. Welcome, John, with a period. Happy. Okay. Maybe it's his birthday today. Happy. What we'll do is we'll say plus, and I'm adding the space right here. So there's space between the words. That's all. Just a space character. Happy, and then we'll say age plus, and we're gonna say like 23rd, right? So happy 23rd. Maybe we would have some special code here, that can say if it was a third or a second or whatever. But happy 23rd, and we'll say birthday. Pretty cool. And let's go ahead and just print it and see if it works. So I'm going to copy this. Remember, message doesn't exist anymore. Okay, we got rid of that variable. It's up here commented out. We can't access it anymore. Just going to paste that in there. Command C, Command V, or Control C and Control V on Windows. And console.log, of course, that's the command or the function that we're calling on the browser, which is going to print this to our console. So I'm saving it here. And what we're going to do is pull open our web page again and just Command R or Control R to refresh. Welcome, John. Happy 23rd birthday. So it's his birthday. It's a welcome message. And we did that all using variables, which is really cool, string variables. So what we've done here is we've created a string literal, we've added or concatenated, okay, concatenated, say that 5 times fast, please. So we've concatenated this literal string with this variable string, okay, and we've concatenated again with this, and then this number here. What's really cool about JavaScript, unlike other languages, is it's really smart about converting your numbers into strings, okay? And so what it did was it took a number here. Now this is not a string. There's no quotes around it, okay? It took that number here, and it converted it to a string, and then we added another string right here. Okay, so string plus string plus string plus number, but it's actually converted into a string, plus another string here. All right, pretty cool. One more thing I want to show you with strings, okay, because it's important to know, and you'll see it, is you don't have to use the double quotes. You can also use the single quotes. So if I highlight this whole word here and put a single quote in, it's going to put one on each side, okay? And when I say single quote, that is the quote that is right next to your enter key on the right-hand side of the keyboard, just left of it. It's that little key right there. Single quotes work as well too. So this is important to know, because if you have to put if you have to insert quotations, let's say you're quoting somebody on the internet and it needs to have quotations, okay? You need to use single quotes and then double quotes inside the single quotes, so you can properly escape those quotations, and so they actually appear inside the string. I know that may sound confusing, but as time goes by, you'll see that in occasions. So we've worked with strings. We've talked about variables. Okay, remember, variables are buckets that hold data, and they're stored in random spots on the RAM. Those little hardware pieces in your computer called RAM. It's storing data into those, and then your computer saves a memory address. Okay, it saves the location, the address, 0x001x0x whatever. Okay, it stores that memory address, and then it fetches it whenever it's needed. And of course, the more variables you use in your program, the more RAM it's going to use up. Of course, JavaScript is very good about when you're done with your variable here and you don't need it anymore, it'll clean it out and free up that memory. So that's good to know as well too. So these don't always stay there permanently. They just stay there as long as they're needed. So that's a lot to take in. The moral of the story for today is working with strings. Put quotes around them. You can make words. You can put numbers in them. Very useful, and I use them every day in my programming career. So that's it for now. Mark Price at devslopes.com, variables and strings.